many dinners, but I've never spoken to an audience of this size, or to an audience with which I've felt such an emotional bond. It's a real roller coaster ride for me tonight, and has been for the last few days. There are people in this room that I have a very deep love and respect for, many, many of them. But as you will understand, I also have a very personal, emotional link with tonight. My father spoke at the 1958 dinner in the town hall. And if I paraphrase a little sentence from Gerald Hinchlif's wonderful book, those who don't see his spirit here are simply not looking. I feel him on my shoulder. He's saying, for God's sake, lad, don't make a mess of it.
I was sitting there with a glass of red in one hand and a book in the other, as you do at 70, and the telephone rang, and this guy said, "This is Richard Taylor." And your heart sinks, doesn't it? Because you know very well that you're going to have a lousy meal because you've got to speak after it. What I want you to do, he said, is crack a few jokes for a few minutes and then speak about the school. I think he's got the wrong K. I'm Doug K. There's Gordon K. There's Danny K. It's Peter K. He's got the wrong one.
It must have been a Yorkshire reporter who declared that US troops have invaded Iraq. Sorry, I'll read that again. US troops have invaded Iraq. I am going to stick to my original brief. The invitation that you extended to me in December of 2007, and then you spring it on me this evening, coming around saying we want 3 minutes from you, and get on with it and get off, and let's get on with the real speeches. This is what I prepared, Mr. Chairman, irrespective of your wishes.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, ex-pupils, teachers and honoured guests. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm especially honoured to be speaking to you on this extra special occasion, one of which I'm sure will be close to the hearts of many Old Almondburians. We are also here to celebrate the 400th anniversary of our school being granted the Royal Charter by King James in 1608. And looking around the room, I can see from the wistful expressions that many of you can remember that very day.
Was April the 5th, 1970, and it was my first day as a reporter for the BBC, for BBC in those days, BBC Radio, and I was really very excited, my first day. And my boss, who was as new as I was, came rushing in and he said, all the newspapers are full of stories about how Harold Wilson, then Prime Minister, is going to call a general election. And he said, Harold Wilson is going to be leaving from Euston Station to his constituency at Huyton at 11 o'clock this morning. So I want you to go along there and I want you to ask him if he is going to call an election. My boss was very new in the job, not quite as new as I was, but he had about 2 weeks over me, and he didn't know that this was not what you did. Anyway, I turned up at platform 7 at Euston Station, and we'll say this is Harold Wilson, because he was a short little man. Excuse me, Prime Minister, but I wonder, obviously it's a matter of national interest, and it's been all over the newspapers in recent days, that you might be thinking about calling an election. Is that true? Actually, I didn't say any of that, because I got as far as, excuse me, Pry, when my world started to collapse around me, because the Prime Minister of my nation reached out for the microphone, started wrestling it out of my hand and punched me really hard in the stomach.